Hello, my name is Kayla, and today I will be doing the Code of Ethics presentation. Okay, so let's imagine that we have an engineer who is approached by a client, and this client has a specific project that he has in mind. Let's say that this specific project is a bridge that he wants built. Okay, so this is the bridge that the client has in mind. Now let's imagine that the engineer goes through the design with the client and realizes that this design is just not going to work and it's not going to be successful. So this is what the engineer has in mind on the design that the client wants. Now the engineer offers the client to go through a different design with him, however, the client refuses. Now, the engineer thinks to himself, he could either tell the client that this could possibly not be a successful design, or he can try to figure out a solution by himself. So, what should the engineer do? Well, the engineer should refer to the NSPE Code of Ethics. So what exactly is the NSPE Code of Ethics? Well, the NSPE Code of Ethics is a set of rules where engineers can follow whenever they are faced with an ethical dilemma. In the case of the engineer, he should refer to the NSPE Code of Ethics in order to find a solution to this situation. So the NSPE Code of Ethics has 3 different rules, the first one being fundamental canons, the second one being rules of practice, and the third one being professional obligations. So each of these 3 rules have different sections under them, and under these different sections, they each have their own subsections, and each subsection basically explains that different situations that an engineer could possibly be faced with and a solution to those situations. Okay, so why exactly do these codes exist? So, like I mentioned before, that engineers can have something to refer to when they are not trained specifically for ethical dilemmas that they are in. They can refer back to the Code of Ethics, look through it, and kind of figure out where their situation fits in and what they can do about it. So let's say that our engineer that we were discussing decides to go through with the project and just figure everything out on his own to try and make the design work for the client's needs, because he really, really, really wants to get this design done, or this project done, for the client. So by going through this project, what rule did the engineer break from the NSPE Code of Ethics? Well, the engineer broke rule number 3, section 1, subsection A, or B. I'm sorry. So what does this rule say? Well, this rule states that engineers should inform their clients or their employers on whether or not a project will be unsuccessful. In the case with the client, the engineer should have informed their client that the design that they wanted is just not going to work. It's just not possible to make it work. It could possibly collapse or hurt people, and it's just not going to be a successful project. So the engineer should have done that, but by going through with the project, he wasted people's time and people's money just by taking on the project. Now, the engineer, in this case, in the future, he should refer to the Code of Ethics whenever faced with an ethical dilemma. By doing so, the engineer can by doing so, the engineer will be able to build successful bridges in the future and be a successful person in their career. Thank you.